Hey, I'm Trisha, and I wanted to share a little bit about my background story of why I love to paint color and whimsy and wonky means the beautiful and perfect to me, but I wanted to give you a little glimpse into my background story. So I grew up in an amazing family. My parents were so loving and gave me the most magical childhood. And to this day, I think, how would my parents do this? I just ask myself, even as I'm parenting my own children. But I wanted to give you the background of, I grew up in a wonderful family, went to college. After college, I married in my late 20s. And then, of course, you think, okay, then we'll have babies. And so for 2 years, we tried to get pregnant and we couldn't. And I would pray and beg God to give us a baby. And then the summer of 2002, I was 31 years old and my life just completely changed and basically tumbled down. I was diagnosed with a blood condition called essential thrombocytosis. The doctor said if I had gotten pregnant, that the baby and I, it would have been catastrophic, which meant, I guess in doctor's terms, we would have possibly died. And so I was diagnosed with this blood condition and I had to be on very heavy medicine, and they told me I couldn't have children of my own because it was a Class C drug. So Mike and I had to look into adoption and go, okay, we got to change the game plan. Like, now we're going to look into adoption and we're going to go build our family that way. And through that time, I felt very sick from the medicine. My energy was cut in half. I felt achy and like I had the flu all the time. It was really hard. And meanwhile, all my friends were flitting around and everybody was having babies and having baby showers and enjoying life like as a normal 30-year-old, but I wasn't. And then 4 weeks after I was diagnosed with my blood condition, my dad had a severe traumatic brain injury. And so it changed him completely into almost like a 2-year-old. And so the dad that I knew, who was so wonderful and sparkly and loved me so much and so well, I had to learn how to love a new dad. So I lost the dad I had. And so during that time, I really questioned God's love because everything was happening like bam, 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 bam. And I really had a hard time. And that's when I started reading Psalms every day, because I thought, well, David was very honest with God. And so I'm going to be very honest with God and tell him exactly how I feel. And it was really, really powerful. And to this day, I still go through Psalms for my quiet time because I feel like that's just where you can worship God and yet you can ask God questions and feel that freedom. And so fast forward a little bit, and a few months down the road, the clouds started, if you look at my life in the summer, it was like a hurricane. It's just stormy and wet, and it's just storms all around, and it was gray and it was dark. And then the clouds started dissipating and I discovered art. I discovered painting. And so I went to the beach, was inspired by an artist who painted with acrylic paints and Sharpie marker on wooden boards. And I thought, I'm gonna try this. So I just started painting, and soon our house turned into this paint land with paint everywhere and canvases everywhere. But it gave me such joy, and I loved the bright colors, and I loved imagining just happiness. And so that was my way of dealing with the sorrow and the hard, and it just brought me so much joy. And I really felt God's smile over me when I was creating also. And during that time, a few months later, February 14th, on Valentine's Day, we met Sam, our son, in Far East Russia. And I was so exuberant and so happy. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm a mom, and God gave us a family. And so he basically turned life around, and through the next 10 years, we adopted Rosie and Pippa. I was still on my medicine, and I was still sick a lot of the time, but through that, God gave me the joy through art and creating and painting. I could go in my studio and I would feel just all the pain that I had would just go away because I was so focused on making and creating. It gave me such happiness. And so that's why I love color. And also through the dark and the storms, I realized there's always a reason. And sometimes we understand it here on earth, and sometimes we may not understand until we get to heaven. For me, I know that God, I'm so thankful for the blood condition I had because God gave me my children that through adoption. And that's the way he created our family. And to this day, I'm so thankful. And God did heal me of my blood condition. And he healed me about a year after we adopted Pippa. And it was all from, I changed my whole diet and what I was eating, and that healed me. And so I'm a big cheerleader of what we eat does sometimes really affect how we feel. And so all that to say is that's why I love Sunshine Club and making a club like this, and that's why I love painting with such bright colors and happy colors, because I want to just shine God's light and help others see God's smile, even if they're going through the hard and the sorrow and they've walked through such deep, hard things as that. God is there with them, whether they see it or know it or not. And sometimes it takes others to bring in that sunshine, or others to bring in that encouragement through life. So I wanted to share my story, and that's kind of how it ties into Sunshine Club. It's just, I'm very passionate about sending out God's truth and joy through my art and sharing that with others. And we are here for such a time as this, and God can use us in so many different ways. And for me, I really feel like it's through art, and it's through just writing, and it's through our stories also. So I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and happy day, y'all.